Do you remember your first steps in Tevat? I do. That moment when I first glided off Starsnatch Cliff and thought this game had a breath of the wildness, if you know what I mean. If you started the game 4 years or 3 months ago, or even if you quit 3 years back, it doesn't matter. We all had that first moment of wonder, however brief. Hey, speaking of fond memories, remember early Mondstadt's perfect lip sync?
前々からヒルチャールの動向は探ってたし、奴らの拠点が覚えてるぞ。アンバーと初めて会った時
Come
も
on, look at
ヒルチャ
that.
ールの巣を片付けてたよ
Now
な。
characters stop moving their lips 5 words into a sentence. Insan, how are you talking right now? If you've seen my last video on Mondstadt, unarguably the most forgotten nation right now, you know I was deep in that Mondstadt turf, and while working through the nostalgia, it hit me. What changed in Genshin Impact? Where did our feelings for the game go? Today, I want to revisit the past, share my own memories, maybe they'll resonate with you, and analyze when the shift happened and when did we decide we liked it. Of course, all of this is my opinion, and you're free to disagree with it. And if you do, I'll disagree with yours even harder because how dare you, my opinion is right, and let's retrace our steps. The golden age of Genshin Impact. Back then, there were no tier lists or really funny ones, no artifact min-maxing, no debates over meta viability. Our strongest character was Diluc, yeah, that's right. And our strongest constellation, Venti C1, shotgunning enemies at a massive 33% attack scaling, boy. Hell yeah. It was simply an era of innocence. We didn't know better, it was pure adventure. I would say I was a fool in this beginning, and I remember it as beautiful. Look at that poetry. You can tell I ate good in that Mondstadt revisiting, right? I thought attack percentage stats were the best on everything and celebrated when I reached my first 1k attack on Razor. Yes, I mained Razor, didn't we all? I would farm Sensetias and apples, thinking they were a sustainable way to heal in combat, so that I will get to play 4 DPS characters and no healer. Let me tell you about my first 5-star pull. At this time, I was not very familiar with gacha games and decided to pull on Venti's banner. In a single 10 pull, Venti dropped, twice, and it came as no shocker to me. Why? I was so naive I shrugged it off, thinking the increased drop rates at 50% chance meant a literal 50-50 on every pull. Cute, right? Genshin was my first gacha, and it got me with its characters first. Actually, I'm curious. When you saw Genshin, be it during release or last week, which character is it that you saw who made you think, this character is for me, I want to play the game? For me, as a day 1 player, it was Diluc. Nowadays it would certainly be different. With your favorite characters obtained, do you remember your first domains? The slight feeling of anxiety upon facing a new boss or entity? That was adventure. We weren't rushing nor optimizing, we were discovering. Team synergy only meant characters I like to play all at once, right? With that mindset, I took Diluc to the Crimson Witch domain in co-op once. Simply put, I felt like I was witnessing a League of Legends alt chat piling up on me that day. Cheers to you, random player with a Chinese name and broken English who encouraged me to stop playing both in-game and in real life. Still playing so far? And you know what? Even with that, I was happy with the game. I'm sure you were too. Back then, exploration wasn't about using the treasure compass or checking the interactive map. It was about getting lost, seeing a Sealy in the distance and thinking, what is that? Not to mention the first steps taken in Storm Terror's lair, its simple but stunning structure at the time, hitting us with an emotionally heavy OST, telling us how much this place mattered and how tragic its story was. The story of the game too really had that sense of mystery, of what is beyond those mountains, or can I go there? And the deeper meaning of the nations we were questing in. We were playing our favorite characters, ran through breathtaking landscapes, and felt immersed. Back then, I thought I was a team-building genius, pairing Razor with Chongyun and Chinkyu. Today, your brain probably twitched at that. But that's the thing, back then we didn't care, or at least I didn't, and it was fun. Then, what changed? As a gacha game with no PvP, no direct competition, the Spiral Abyss became less of a threat and more of a measuring stick. DPS, standing for damage per screenshot, became the goal. If we couldn't clear Abyss above 7 minutes, frustration replaced fun. All for, what, 50 Primogems at the time? From my observations, it began in Inazuma, slowly and steadily. The Spiral Abyss became more of a marketing tool, and characters were made to compete in it, often sold to us by buffs that are extra advantageous for them. A very common practice in this type of game scene, which wasn't too bad at the time. While Hoyoverse never stopped putting effort into their character designs, they weren't just designed to be cool anymore, they had to sell and beat previous banner sales income, making them a viable or not option before being a cool character. Take Yume Mizuki, a great design in my opinion, with close to relevant story importance as a yokai of Inazuma. Many in my surroundings were charmed by her Baku inspiration, if not her face alone. But Hoyoverse decided to make her a standard banner character, botching her kit in the process, selling her banner cycle through a ridiculous Spiral Abyss buff that brought more damage in a single line of text than her whole character does, giving the illusion that she is competent, ensuring she will feel miserable now that she has to be used without this buff. Then, there's the offender named Varesa. Past the whitewashing or skin color disconnected from her name, like her or not, at the time of her announcement, she was an absolute nobody, with only one line of text in the entire game describing her as a big eater. Yet, she is pushed as a 5-star, making Yunsun a 4-star, although a damn good one. Yunsun was a literal face of NetLAN since 2020, making her situation even worse than Ningguang's. As if it wasn't enough, she gets a brand new model, an absurd miniskirt. Anime just cannot design a cowgirl without some sort of sexualization, it seems. And, of course, making her only second to Mahuika in damage potency to secure the banner's success. If you couldn't tell, I don't like Varesa. The story changed too. Its magic bled out, and Inazuma held the knife. How many of you or your friends quit during Inazuma? Ask around, you might be surprised. Inazuma promised a closed-off, high-stakes land, but in execution, the threat never felt real. The story dragged, it felt tedious. Characters spoke for minutes, barely moving, alternating between NPC asset idle thinking and NPC asset idle arms moving. Despite the looming threat of the Shogun herself within Inazuma City, you are able to freely roam it, and worst of all, the immersion-killing low point. Mandatory Ayaka and Yoimiya story quests. Uninteresting as can be, in the middle of an already weak story. A mediocre, no, pathetic way to disguise a sell incentive as narrative. Thankfully, Enkanomiya happened. Then Sumeru, then Fontaine. The storytelling improved. The cutscene animations became alive, mostly after NetLAN. Although its story wasn't bad, it was not on the previous level. Genshin's experience has been going loose ever since NetLAN's release. The gameplay has never felt so restrictive. Imaginarium Theater stops us from playing who we want. Spiral Abyss encourages, sometimes enforces specific characters instead of specific elements or gameplays. Adapt your team became pull these units or struggle. Looking at you, abomination of a mechanic called Night Soul. This mechanic is a wall to players who did not pull for any NetLAN character, be it because their designs didn't resonate or to save for Capitano. See where that got us? The Traveler and Kachina simply do not cut the Night Soul checks efficiently enough. If your mains are not from NetLAN, then you must struggle, as a punishment for not letting Hoyo's poor gameplay/market direction make decisions for you. Much respect to the players still clearing Abyss with Diluc, Child, or even Ember and Kaya as main DPSs. Despite the hundreds of attempts it takes them, watching them feels like a time capsule. A reminder that floor 12 once had 3 million HP total, and that was considered hard. Now, it's 14 million, and not in a fun way, boy. Please excuse my vulgarity. Events too feel like chores. Primogems dangle as bait, but the process isn't enjoyable. It's neutral at best. Save for the summer events. Those are priceless, warm memories that keep on carrying the original spirit of Genshin Impact. Meanwhile, in Honkai Star Rail, I grind events for hours without realizing it, because they're fun. I like to view and compare Genshin in the following way. Genshin is the strict, routine-bound parent. Breakfast at 6, lunch at 12, dinner at 7:30. They see your fun as inefficient, instead you should be working. Their biggest thrill? Buying a non-sugar-free orange juice and posting about it on Facebook. In comparison, you have Honkai Star Rail. This game is the cool millennial-minded sibling nearing their 30s. They find you fun things to do, gives you gifts just because, tries to stay hip, sometimes calling you blood or dropping a gyat or skibidi ironically, and it works. Incidentally, I cannot believe I've just spoken those words out loud. So, what can we do? We can't unlearn what we know about Genshin as a game, but we can try to immerse ourselves further. Every new nation released means new exploration, new unknowns, an opportunity to explore like we did in Mondstadt. Don't unlock the map right away. Get lost, literally. Use a weaker character you love and fight story and field enemies with them. Play for the wonder again and subscribe to my channel. If you don't subscribe, it won't work, I tried. All of my current subscribers are my alt account, all 3 of them. With that, thank you for walking this path down memory lane with me. Sir Aoth bids thee farewell.